The audio is gonna be horseshit, dude. I can already tell. My fucking Xbox sound is gonna fucking fly away. Like, listen to the shit. The shit is fucking awful. But today we were supposed to be talking about one of the fights, one of the fewer fights actually that I've lost, and this fight I lost managed to be in school. You know, everybody know how school fights go. It's either you win and everybody on your dick, like the hoes, you get fake friends and everything, or you lose and you get bullied by everybody, including the teachers. Fucking one time I lost a fight in school and the janitor was saying shit to me. You know what I'm saying? So I hate fighting in general. I don't like the concept of violence. I think everybody should be able to be peaceful. But like at the same time, you know, everybody get the urge to beat somebody ass. It's okay, it's normal. But for this one fight, it was like it was bound to happen. It was one kid who was the class clown, and it was me who was a class clown. But I'm not gonna lie, he was a better class clown than me. So we used to compete. You know, we used to see who can make more people laugh and all that shit. And I ain't gonna lie, even though he was like funnier than me, I was better than him. He was funnier because he made everybody laugh. I made a specific group laugh. You know what I'm saying? I used to be at the cool kids table making them crack up like a little clown. And he used to make them laugh too, but like they'd rather like me be with them and shit. So I ended up dating one of like the cool kids, like one of the cool girls. I ended up dating one of them. She was tall, light skinned, you know what I'm saying? A little batty thing, you know? And he wanted her too. And it was sad because she found him extremely repulsing. Like she looked at that nigga like ill. You know what I'm saying? Like she thought that nigga was ugly as hell. That nigga was ugly as hell. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm a sexy chocolate dude. I can say it. That was an ugly ass nigga. And it really started like because of that. Like our entire arguments and everything, it really started because of that. At first it was just little petty shit. And then after that shit it got like big, like, you know, he was beat your ass, all that shit. You know, trying to impress the girls. I'm like, nigga, you ain't gonna beat me, nigga, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we were niggas. Like we were little jits, we babies, bitches, all that shit. Ain't nobody was really about that shit. And one time, you know, we in the music room with it, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a really fucked up kid. We had this white music teacher, and I used to say the most racist shit to him because my family are full of racist people. I'm not racist though, but at that young age, everybody was telling me that, you know, Caucasian people are enemies and never to hang around them or anything. And at that age, I listened. I'm not gonna lie. So when we had the white teacher, I used to think like when he used to like say shit to me, because I was really disruptive and everything. I used to think that he was like, you know, picking on me specifically and shit. And he wasn't. He was just being a good teacher. But we're inside the music room, and I think I said something like racial, like I was talking and he was like, yo, be quiet. And I was like, what you gonna do about it? C word. You know, I'm not gonna say that word, but you know what happened to Bruce when he said that shit. So I'm not gonna even attempt to say that shit. But I called him that, and then everybody in the class was kind of looking at me like, bro, you fucked up. And then that nigga would just happen to say some shit. He was like, yo, bro, don't say that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then I was like, bro, you a bitch. And then he called me a bitch. And then he was like, your mom's a hoe. You know, your mom's a hoe. We were just arguing. Little petty shit. And then his sister, for some reason, his sister was like grade 10. This had to be like 4th grade. And his sister was somehow inside the fucking music room. And his sister started like saying shit to me. So me being me, I turned around. I'm like, you a bitch, you a hoe. I started talking my shit. I do this shit to this day. And I started talking my shit to her. And then she was like, I'll beat your ass. I'm like, come do it, nigga. And then the entire time the teacher just watching, he like, you know, he don't really give a fuck. Like, I'm the worst kid, so he ain't really gonna say shit. nigga, I'm arguing with two siblings, nigga, and this nigga, like, he stands up. He like, bro, keep talking to my sis like that again. He like said some shit like, talk to my sis like that again. I'm like, nigga, fuck you and your sister. And I looked over to his sister and I said, you a hoe. And then he like, you know, he did one of those little ha 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 cool nigga shit. Like, he looked around with a smile on his face. So I'm like, he ain't gonna do shit. Nigga, I dropped my guard for a second. This nigga punched the fuck out of me, bro. Like, that nigga hit me. I was like, ooh, I ate that bitch. I'm like, tasty on some shit. And he turned his back. Cause I'm sitting, I'm building up the anger. I'm like, I'm finna knock this nigga out. Bro, I'm finna go swing on this nigga. And one of the hoes inside the class be like, bro, behind you. They just scream that nigga name and be like, behind you. And that nigga turned around. And in some cool ass way, that nigga reaction time was amazing. And that nigga turned around, weaved my shit, and then boot my shit on the head. I was like, ugh. So I'm like, no, fuck it, nigga. I'm like, fuck it, nigga. We finna throw these hoes. We start throwing them bitches. I ain't gonna lie. I got a couple of good connects, like 3 or 4. But he was winching my shit. I ain't gonna lie. That nigga was beating the fuck out of me. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna take this to a wrestling match. Nigga, I get on the ground to go wrestle with that nigga. I get on top of that nigga, boom, 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 boom. That nigga's sister get up, kick me in my shit. Like, hit me right in my fucking ribs, bro. And I'll fucking roll over holding my fucking ribs. Cause that bitch kicked me with like the strength of fucking Kratos or some shit. And she cracked my shit. And that nigga tried to get on top of me, but I started doing that, you know, that move, the forbidden move when you fighting your siblings where you just spam them fucking kicks. And I started doing that shit to him. So he really couldn't, like, you know, get on top of me like that. So one of the kicks I did, fucking my boot, I had some big ass boots. And one of the boots flew up in the air. And when the boot flew up in the air, it landed directly on the back of that nigga head. And when it landed directly on the back of that nigga head, that's whenever that nigga decided to fucking jump on top of me. And then when that nigga jumped on top of me, he just started like fucking beating my shit in. I'm not gonna lie. I had a busted nose and everything. And that nigga just beat the fuck out of me. And then everybody in the class started laughing and shit. Cause my fucking shoe fell out. I was on the ground. I ain't gonna lie, I was on the verge of tears. I tell y'all niggas that I ain't a bitch. I was on the verge of tears. Because it wasn't only about me losing. I lost in front of my bitch, bro. And like, that's like unforgivable, bro. Like, I got my ass beat in front of my bitch. And the shit, ain't gonna lie, she a real one. She stayed with me after it. But it's just the fact that like I got humiliated in front of her. And I know that shit was like on her ass too, like her friends and shit. Cause their friends already ain't like me dating her. So for them to see that I got my ass beat by a goofy ass nigga like that, I know that shit made it worse. But after that, me and him, I just let that nigga be the class clown after that. I just gave that to that nigga. I'm like, you beat my ass for it and everything, bro. Like, I can't even compete with your ass no more. You won. So, yeah. That was a fight story. And at the end of the day, the teacher still didn't give a fuck. Still, yeah, I just want to throw that in there. The teacher watched the whole fight. He didn't break it up once. He just let me get my ass beat and then told me to go to the principal's office. But, yeah. So, damn, I'm getting sad and shit now when I'm thinking about it. But, yeah. Bye, everybody. Peace.